Hello, everybody. Good morning. You're welcome. Um, can I have my friend here? Okay. Okay, it doesn't go back. All right. All right. Thank you for coming, and I'm excited to be with you. Hi, my name is Peculiar Silva, as she has rightly mentioned, and I'm open source advocate and the project manager for Kiosk Education Project. You're welcome to this talk on developing high impact open source contributors through learning. The open source, it's not just about code, it's about contribution, it's about collaboration, it's about mentorship, it's about community. Learning sit at heart of this all. Now, okay. So to develop high impact open source contributors, we need to train them. We're here today to talk about, not to talk about projects, but to talk about people. And our focus is on people's growth. To sustain an open source project or the ecosystem, we need to develop the contributors. In this talk, I'm going to talk about the innovative way and structured learning path to help you build a strong contributor base. I don't know. Please don't move my slide until I ask you to move it. It's going too far. Thank you. To develop a strong base, and I'll also show you a real life example, especially drawn from Girls Education Project. Thank you for moving my slide, but I've not gotten there. Okay, so I was talking about developing open source education, why it's important. Now, contributor education is very important because so many people face struggle while trying to contribute. So finding difficult issues to first issue to contribute to, navigating the open source platform, and also understanding the code base. So these pose challenges to the contributors. As a result, open source education is very, very important. Now, providing open source contributors with support they need as soon as they arrive your project or your community, that solves it all. That initial and continuous that's continuous engagement or encouragement to the contributor, that's actually what makes cause contributors retention in your community or in your project. So the next slide. Okay. Now, open source education, we should look at it as an infrastructure. Now, somebody might say, let's contributors read documentation, but I would rather say, let's shift how we look at open source education, not at documentation, but as an infrastructure. Just as CI/CD pipeline helps or keeps the code flowing, structured learning path also keep contributors striving. So providing a learning path or support for your contributors, that actually solve the struggle contributors face. Now, with when we look at open source as an infrastructure, as infrastructure, we will not think about content. We think beyond content, but we think about enabling, not just delivering. And Yeah. Next slide. Now, I've mentioned structured learning path over for a while. What is a structured learning path? A structured learning path starts with onboarding guide, and your structured learning path should be clear. It should be flexible so that contributors coming into your open source project will know where to start. And also, the content should be modular and concise. Also, the community support should be able to help or be the backbone of your all that you provide to your contributors. Next slide. I don't know if this one. Now, what the slide before this? Example of a structured learning path is good first issue. A good first issue can double as a structured learning path. A good first issue should help your contributors to understand your code base, and also it shouldn't be complicated. It should be in such a way that it should set your contributors up for success. Next one. Another example of a structured learning path is kiosk education project. A project I managed from scratch. The kiosk education project. Now, kiosk is a learners foundation project focused on uh, community health, but we go beyond metrics and we invested deeply in resource education. We did it because we saw a common struggle among contributors how to find good first issue to work on, navigating the community, unfamiliar project known, and all. So we created these educational courses on open source topics to help contributors easily navigate the open source landscape. And this for we was launched early this year, and we have seen a lot of growth, people using it, and it has helped a lot learn how to contribute to the open source project. Now, I'll look at some courses we have under this kiosk education project. There are just four categories. We have Welcome to Open Source to help you learn about different open source topics. And also, if you're interested in topics like open source licensing, open source security, open source in education, and how to build a career in open source, you will see it under that category. We have the next one, our practitioner guide, which help you to learn or explore the kiosk metrics. Then the next we have the developers course hub to help those who like to contribute in code. Am I even using this? Sorry. I help those who want to contribute in code learn how to use the best practice to contribute in code. Then the last one is all about kiosk, where you learn everything you need to know about the kiosk project. The next slide, please. Now, what we did to help people learn about in open source is, thank you so much. In open source is to divide the development process of these courses into three main stages. And this, just write a script, you can prepare a slide, you can like record a video. Why we did that is to make sure that everybody, every newcomer in open source or in our community has something to contribute to, and we appreciate no matter how little what you have to contribute to is. Next slide, please. Next slide. All right. Investing in contributors equals sustainable open source. Open source is as healthy as people behind it. Do you agree with me? Without the contributors, there will be no open source project. But the contributors are the backbone of this open source project. As a result, we develop the contributors by equipping them with all that they need to be able to build open source project. The next slide. All right, my final thought. Invest in the contributor because I mean the in the contributors, because the contributors build what, an open source project, and once we do this, we'll help the African ecosystem have a lot of open source contributors, and we grow together. Thank you so much. The next slide. These are materials that can help you engage with this or ask more questions. And the last slide, you can also feel free to have peep at it by scanning that QR code. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Peculiar. All right. I mean, we're having fun, really. I'm having fun with learning. I love learning, and it's just it's so beautiful to see people learning like me. So invest in the open source contributor. Thank you so much for that, Peculiar. Before we go on to our next speaker, I just want to inform you again that there are other things happening in other rooms. We have the canvas room, the sandbox room, the portal room, which is this room. The sandbox and the canvas room is upstairs, yes, and the horizon room is right in the middle, and the last room is the orbital room. These rooms, there are discussion happening, so just check your schedule to know the discussion that you will be interested in. So we want you to have, you use the most of this festival. All right. The sandbox room is upstairs. So if you don't have the schedule yet, just scan the barcode to see what's happening in the other rooms. Yes, while we hear other people settling. That's good. And please, you cannot leave this all with the headset. Drop the headset as well, leave with the all. There will be other headset in the other rooms that you're going to. Please do not leave the room with the headset. Okay. So in the horizon room currently they'll be having discussion on open source best practice lessons from the All in Africa program by Gloria. And this room our speaker will be coming on very soon. We'll be having my LLM is better than yours. I mean that's both really. Then the canvas room, there is discussion going on don't just build, tell the story, content strategy for devs and OSS maintainers by Daniel Adeboye, and the sandbox room also upstairs right in front of each other, building a sustainable open source project, marketing by design, not by accident, by Oluwabamikemi Kayode. And while we welcome the next speaker, taking us on the topic, my LLM is better than yours. Please welcome Wale Olowonyo.